Hey, alright, welcome. Appreciate you clicking on the video to watch me make this lamp. Yes, it is a functional lamp. You can also make one. Really not that hard, and I'm going to show you. If I can do this, anybody can. So, let's get started. And with any project, before you start, you gotta pick out your wood. I am using white oak. I had a bunch of scraps laying around and figured I'd put them to good use. First things first, we're going to go ahead and process our rough wood into finished wood, and I'm going to use this planer to do that. I'm going to plane everything down from 1 inch rough, or 4/4, to about 5/8. You can go thinner if you want. You want a smoother contour twist, and go thicker if you want more blocky with angles and corners and joints. But yeah, I went with 5/8. So when planing rough wood down, you always got to take your time. I make many small passes. It's tedious, it's boring, but you'll get much better results in the long run taking smaller, shallower passes. And the blades will last you a lot longer. I can't tell you how many times I've changed out these blades. But yes, planing is my least favorite aspect of woodworking. Alright, well, hopefully you've stuck around after that obnoxious editing job I just did, but I found it kind of funny, so I figured I'd leave it in. Yeah, so moving on to the jointer, and here I am edge jointing for maybe obvious reasons, but maybe not so obvious reasons, but I'm trying to get a straight, smooth edge. And you can hear by that last one I just went through, that was against the grain. I am planning to make a video on jointers and how to use them properly and things I've learned just from experimenting with them, but they're a very useful tool. When used properly, they can save you a boatload of time. Now I will say and point out here, if you listen closely, you can hear when it's going with the grain and then when it switches to go against the grain. Obviously that's going to happen around knots as the grain is constantly changing direction. Ideally, you want to go with the grain. When you go against the grain, it tends to chip out. It's not as easy to get a smooth finish. You got to go really slow and have really sharp blades. In my case, I probably should change my blades out, but yeah, as you can see there, yeah. So that was a little chip out. You also have to be careful with snipe on this. If your beds are not the same height and it's not calibrated properly, it can cause all kinds of frustrations, as I have learned. But hey, that's how we get better, right? Struggling, learning, overcoming. Nobody ever got good at something if they were already good at it, right? They had to be bad at it in order to become good at it. So that comes with practice and just learning, experimenting, making mistakes, and fixing those mistakes. Alright, once you've got everything jointed, so you've got one smooth edge to go up against that fence, now you can get a true parallel cut, hence the jointer. And yeah, so I set my fence here to 4 inches because I want these squares to all be 4 inches by 4 inches. Okay, let's cut through. We don't need to see all those rips. Now we're on to the miter saw, where we're going to cross cut everything to 4 inches. Alternatively, if you don't have a miter saw, you could use your table saw. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch every single one of these cuts, but here are a few just so you can get a sense of it. Just take your time, be careful, don't cut your fingers off. Alright, so we got all of our rough pieces now. And I say rough, they're not really rough, but they're not finished either, so technically they're still rough. Well, let's call it semi-rough. Okay, so this next part requires a drill press. I guess technically you could do it by hand. That seems like it would be pure torture. But yeah, so now it's time to bust out old Bessie. This is my father's drill press that he gifted to me. Apparently this thing is older than me, and you're going to see me struggle. Yeah, watch out for that garage door idiot. But this is a good drill press, I must say. It's got a lot of power. It's solid. It's all steel. None of that aluminum or plastic crap. They don't make them like this anymore. And it's cliche to say that, but it is true. Alright, let's go America. Anyways, that's a Forstner bit. Half-inch Forstner bit, to be specific. And that's a half-inch Forstner bit because I'm wanting an exact half-inch hole for my exact half-inch OD aluminum tubing, which is going to go down the center of this thing, provide some rigidity, and allow for the wire to get snaked up top. And I'll get to that in a second, but first let's drill all these holes out. So, pro tip, as you'll see, I have a sacrificial piece underneath each one every single time, and that's to prevent chip out for when you punch through the other side. That's more common with drill bits, but it happens with Forstner bits too, so yeah. Hey, look at that. We're making progress. So there's the one piece that has not been drilled through yet, and I'll get to that in a second, but I want to just touch on this. That's the aluminum tube that's going to go down the middle. I measured it at 12 inches, as you can see, but I went back and made a design change to 15 inches because it wasn't quite tall enough. I wanted the lamp to be taller than the 12 inches. Well, plus a little bit extra, but yeah, so I went and got a 15-inch long piece, so disregard that. But getting back to that piece that has not been drilled through yet, that is the bottom piece where the wire will get fed. And I didn't want to drill all the way through it with the Forstner bit because I didn't want a hole on the bottom where you could see the insulated wire. I wanted a nice, clean, finished look, so I only partially drill through with the Forstner bit. But here I am cross-drilling to allow for the grommet to get installed and for the wire to get fed in from the side. Okay, so we've got everything cut, we got everything drilled, all of our pieces have been made. We are ready to assemble, minus some light sanding first, but I'm going to start with the wire and the grommet, get this bottom piece out of the way. Here is the grommet. They're pretty cheap. You can buy them online. I'll provide a link below. I'll also provide a link for the lamp kit and anything else that you would need to make this. Obviously minus any tools and wood. Can't help you there. Sorry, you're on your own. But with the grommet, we're going to go ahead and snip off one side so we can get this nice and flush and it'll fit into the hole. So grab some sharp snips or a knife or whatever tool you want to use and go to town. Now, in order to fasten the grommet, just grab some super glue, get some in there, not too much, less is more. Press and hold for 20 seconds, you're good to go. Alright, so that was a mock-up just to make sure everything fit snug and proper. Now, in order to truly finish these, I'm just going to edge break everything with a little 220 grit sandpaper. Just take the edge off a little bit, you know, it's like a nice glass of scotch or a Shirley Temple. Hey, No judgment here. Everybody likes what they like. Let's get into the lamp kit now. Here it is in all its glory. This is a brass antique style lamp kit. These are pretty available online. They got all kinds. They got black, they got chrome, they got gold, silver, whatever you want. But I chose brass because it looks very nice with the white oak. Nice brown golden theme there. So if you can see that, there's the parts list with the diagram. Again, it's all laid out for you. It's very, very simple. Trust me. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Okay, well, remember how I said 1 minute before that I was done making all the pieces? It's time to assemble. I was just kidding. I gotta make one more piece, and that's the neck. So I'm gonna grab this threaded fitting here, which is just to pass through the wire, and I'm gonna use a small piece of white oak for the neck. This is just aesthetics. You can make it as tall as you want, as short as you want. I went with about 2 inches tall and an 1.25 by 1.25 rectangular block, and it's going to house that other fitting, which is not part of the kit. I had to get that from the big box store, which I believe it's just a 1/4 inch female internal pipe thread, 3/8 male or something like that. I can't remember, but anyways, it fits the threaded piece from the lamp kit perfectly. I'll put a link down below once I get the exact details. I got it on my notes around here somewhere. I don't know. It's midnight. I'm tired. So yeah, put this thing in a vise or clamp it down somehow and just go to town. Just socket it right on. That's it. Nothing special. Okay. Now it is definitely time to assemble. I promise you. I swear. I won't lie to you anymore. I won't lie to you. It's okay. Come back to me. Come back to me. So, yeah. Also, I have to mention, my camera is a piece of crap and decided to not record me gluing anything up. So, this is the aftermath. Right now, I'm just twisting everything to get into the final position before the glue dries. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just grab that aluminum pipe from before, stick it in the hole, and then just one by one slide each piece on, put a little glue around the pipe in the center section of the piece. Avoid the edges so you don't get squeeze out and then you got to go back and clean it all up. But if you do, just have a wet rag or scrape it off. Not the end of the world. Okay, now that we have the neck on, all of the wood pieces are secure, glued together, they're not going anywhere. Let's use a little 220 grit sandpaper here. Just lightly touch it up, just clean it up, get rid of any excess super glue, any glue squeeze out, any sharp edges we forgot or missed. Just freshen it up, get ready for the finish. Speaking of finish, we're going to go ahead and use Rubio Monocoat Oil Plus 2C Pure. That means no tint. And I will leave a link in the description below as per usual. But yeah, this stuff is pretty easy to use. Smells good, goes on easy, comes off easy, provides a nice quality, natural finish. I'm not a big fan of polyurethane and that type of stuff. It just makes it look plasticky to me. But go ahead and use whatever finish you want to use. Finally. Okay, it's time to assemble this thing. I know it's been a long, grueling 16 minutes of your life that you'll never get back, but hey, if you're still listening, I appreciate it. I'm sure 99% of you have already clicked off, but it is what it is. Sorry, I don't have a team of video editors to entertain you like a dancing monkey. Alright, now if I can do this, so can you. And I know I keep repeating myself, but it's the truth. That is the screw terminal to accept the wiring. There's a little cardboard insert. You're going to want to leave that on. I remember when I first made one of these, I took that off thinking it shouldn't be there, but that is there to prevent a fire. And yeah, so piece by piece, just let's put it together. Now, it should be said, don't over tighten these, just get them nice and snug. You don't have to crank them down. And again, make sure that cardboard piece is intact. That's an insulator to prevent a fire. And yeah, that's it. We're basically done. We're going to just press that down. It snaps into that cradle piece. Do some last tightening ups. That's even worse. Alright, I gotta edit this out. Anyway, so that's it. We're done. Top hat on. Voila. Hey, it works. Look at that. Alright, if you've been watching, appreciate it. Made it this far. God bless you. You're a true patriot. Thank you. Bye.